This is Reset Your Buttons with Mary Elizabeth Murphy. Today's episode, From Flywheel to Fly Fishing, features Sara Freeman, who relates her resets through her journey from biomedical engineer to Parks and Rec and tourism to Flywheel Coworking to Rivers and Ridges Excursions. Enjoy.
So today I'm super excited because we have Sara Freeman with lots of things. Sara is the quintessential modern woman who is juggling a lot. And I'm super excited to be able to have her here today to talk with us about her business, Rivers and Ridges, as well as her experience as the now operation manager of Flywheel Coworking here in Concord, North Carolina. And we're coming again from the beautiful The Groove Studio in Concord, North Carolina. And Sara was the manager. She opened Flywheel Coworking 5 years ago. They're having their anniversary coming up next week.
Mm-hmm. May 7th. So we're going to follow the way we've been going, which is to just tell and talk stories and listen for the different resets that, or the parts of our reset model that Sara has experienced in these few years of her very busy career. Welcome, Sara. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I'm super excited to talk to you.
Welcome. So we met years ago when you worked, and I didn't even mention that yet, for Visit Cabarrus.
Yes.
And was it Visit Cabarrus then? Or because they've gone through a couple iterations.
Cabarrus, I think they're Explore Cabarrus now.
Explore Cabarrus.
Okay. But either way, the Convention and Visitors Bureau for our county that brings in tourism for people coming to the area to visit, but then also really promotes the area for residents as well.
Yeah.
And the benefits of tourism to their community.
They're amazing. I love it. Yes.
They're such a remarkable team.
Yeah.
And they have been over the years that I've known them, whether I was working or not there.
And that's, so when we were talking the other day, you started to share with me that story. And, how do you end up working at a visitors bureau, right? So would you be willing to start there?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah. So I came from Florida, graduated from the University of Florida. By that point, my family had all moved up to the Charlotte area, and I knew I had a new college degree and no job yet. So let's move back home. I wanted to work in event production, event management. That was part of my degree. And being relatively new to Charlotte, I loved everything racing. So I wanted to kind of combine the two. Yeah. And lots of networking, lots of wonderful connections led me to the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And they had a partnership role open at the time. And
so you started at the Convention and Visitors Bureau for Charlotte.
For Concord. For Cabarrus in Concord.
Cabarrus. Yeah. So you got hired out of college for the Cabarrus one. Because there is a Charlotte one as well. And for those who aren't aware, and this was something else you shared with me when we were talking the other day, Convention and Visitors Bureaus aren't just for conventions and visitors.
Yes. Any kind of visitor to the area, be the leisure traveler, the family coming in. It could be large group sales. We had a salesperson for every market, sports to conventions and meetings to the leisure traveler coming in for a wedding and everything in between.
That was the one that really caught my attention, was weddings. I was like, oh, really? Because in a previous life, I had a gift basket and balloon decorating business. Yeah. And so we did a lot of weddings.
Yes.
Lots of weddings.
Yes.
So what... As you were coming along, what had you decide that this was what you wanted to get your degree in? Because I think it's a fascinating degree.
So I did not start in any sort of leisure study or hospitality or where I am now.
Okay.
I started in biomedical engineering.
Wow.
Which about 2 semesters in and into a chemistry class I had no business being in, I realized, hey, that is not for me.
This is not a fit.
This is not a fit.
Yeah.
And it was a total pivot moment. And I had somebody in my life recommend, like, hey, you should check out this program. They had known about it. It was Recreation, Parks, and Tourism.
Okay.
Is the official name of the degree. Hospitality being a big industry in Florida, the program was growing. And I lunged into that and just loved it.
Right.
And the rest is history. It was just such a great program and really eye-opening for what the hospitality industry is and how thriving it really can be in a community.
So I know I talk more about that in a few minutes, but I'm fascinated because right out of the gate, we're starting to talk about the reset model.
Sure.
Right? So you started school going for a biochemistry degree and recognized very quickly that this is not meeting my expectations. And so... And I'm also thinking as we're talking, like for our younger listeners or,
Sure.
Parents with kids heading to college, this is important to hear that kind of a reset that you took. So could you say a little bit more about like what expectations you had about the original degree and then how that shifted?
I started in that degree because, well, you're 18 and you have to declare a degree.
Something. Yeah.
But I was drawn to it because I thought, what if I could help find cures for something? What if I could help people?
Wow.
The helping people part was the part that drew me in the most, I think, now that looking back on it.
Yeah.
And so, which is funny now because that's a lot of what I do in hospitality and co-working. And all of it has been a journey of caring for people and building relationships like that. So you getting into it and realizing, the reality is it's lots of equations and
math
and science. Obviously, it should be, and that is not my strong suit.
Yeah.
But still, kind of keeping the core reason of why I was drawn to it, and just finding a different fit. And the other degree was a better fit.
And here's what I also love about that is our second E is about emphasizing core values. And so what you're pointing to there, what I'm hearing, is you recognized that you have a value of helping and serving people. That's the through line.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. It was a moment to step back and I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I totally fell on my face in it and was deciding, okay, this failure is going to be a learning moment and a pivotal moment, and kind of carrying, like you said, that through line into the next chapter, which ended up really leading to me to where I am today. Yeah.
Yeah. And if it hadn't, we wouldn't be sitting here.
Sitting here. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. So so now you're in the new field, and what is it that you're loving about it?
I love so many things. The people is, and I don't mean to harp on that, but it really is, I went from the CVB, I was in partnership, which meant just connecting with the local businesses in our area and telling them about the great things we wanted to do for them. And then, ending up at Flywheel now, it's caring for people. It's, we're a co-working space, so people join our space on a monthly membership to work here remotely, but they're mostly here to connect with other people. Mm-hmm. And so how do I help them grow their business? How do I help them meet that other person so that they have community and friends and other people alongside them in their professional journey, but also their personal lives? It becomes a very personal relationship business.
Well, you tell me, but I'm also wondering, it sounds like when you said you would go to parks and rec and meet with people in small businesses, and this is definitely, Flywheel is definitely about the small entrepreneur,
Totally.
Upscaling. Did you find that are there more small businesses, or what's kind of the proportion of small businesses to large businesses that a Convention and Visitors Bureau supports or helps with?
Okay, so in my work with the CVB, what kind of businesses was I working with?
Yeah.
On the partnership side, it was a little bit of everything. And on both sides, if you're working in sales and service and you were working with incoming groups, you did have large associations, but you also had, like I said, family reunions. And so it's a very personal aspect either way.
Right.
And in the partnership side, it became knowing our local businesses very, very intimately and well. Like, we know their business challenges, we know who they should talk to, we know their next stages of growth that they're anticipating, or where they want to take their business, or all of those sorts of things. So you really got to know them really well.
So through the Convention and Visitors Bureau, you get to know all that stuff.
Oh, definitely. Wow. Definitely.
I would think chamber, right?
Sure.
Or SBA, Small Business Administration.
Sure.
So how does that come about in the CVB world?
How does the connection with the businesses?
Yeah, and the sharing, the trust that is going on between the two organizations, my business and the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
It is a lot of our partnership department, which I was a part of.
Okay.
It was a lot, and all the team, honestly. I'm just thinking from my position, planning events for them to attend and connect with one another, and for them to know about us. It was our team going out into the community and getting to know them and spending the time to get to know all of our partners really, really well, so that they did have that level of trust with us, so that they understood what we were offering. We're unique in that all of our services with Visit Cabarrus or Explore Cabarrus now, but they were completely free. You did not have to pay any sort of membership fee. So we could go in and say, hey, we want to put you in our destination guide, and we want to feature you in this blog article, or we want to do a social post about you, and we want to send people your way.
Yeah.
Well, that's, surely something a small business owner wants, is
for free
for people. But it was just the most fun I had was really knowing them on a first name basis and seeing them at those events and connecting with them and walking into their business as a patron and knowing everybody, hey, how's it going, and all that kind of stuff.
So there's an economic development piece
Definitely.
to what's happening there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Tourism is such an economic driver that people don't think about. And it made me, I'm so happy that I got to work in it, because I was just such a fan of the industry now, that it can create such great impact on a community when it's done well. And for the residents there, and also, provide great travel for our visitors coming in, but it's kind of a win-win when it's done right.
Yeah.
Bringing in events or promoting what makes your destination special.
Yeah.
It's a huge economic driver. Explore Cabarrus has the latest numbers, but you would be amazed. I think people don't think about it, because when we think of vacation, we're just going on vacation, or we're going to travel somewhere. We're not thinking about all of the dollars that you spend along the way in a community, and how intentional you can be in that.
Well, and I know, like, when I check into a hotel, and they'll be like, well, this extra tax is for our hospitality. It's the hospitality tax, and it helps to fund the CVB and some of these other projects.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. However, the community's using it in Cabarrus, it was collected and helped us to, carry on with our operations, which was print marketing, digital marketing, sales, services with going out to the community and being kind of a resource for the visitors that are there, and telling them about the other businesses, and guiding them along their travels and stuff.
And what I love about that is that it really also speaks more to the community piece, right?
Sure.
So it is literally tax dollars at work as far as helping to build the small businesses, helping to serve visitors to the area, helping to make those connections is such a great way to, I think they were all in front of me today for my 8 a.m. meeting. But, like the Charlotte area, they keep saying we're getting like 149 people or 158 people somewhere in there moving here a day.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I believe it.
Yeah. And I'm going to suspect that a lot of that has to do, I think a lot of it had to do with the pandemic. That's the story I'm making up. You probably know better. But it's also because they came and enjoyed the area, right?
Sure. Came and enjoyed the area. Maybe, and we work closely with our economic development office. how do we continue to attract these people so that they think, wow, this is a really great place to run a business. I could move my family here. I could bring my business here. I could bring my team here. The quality of life here is something that, is attractive to the talent we're trying to attract.
Right.
And so how do we kind of keep that wheel going with all of our community partners and find it as not just a good place to visit, but a good place for business?
Yeah. Which then I have a better understanding then of how come you as the CVB also need to build that trust with the small businesses or the large businesses that you're promoting, because you're the face that said, hey, you should hold your hotel, or you should hold your event at this hotel.
Sure.
Or this small business is a great place to take your folks for dinner.
Absolutely.
And you need to know that business is going to be there.
Right.
When this convention or small conference or wedding shows up and wants to go there for dinner.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're kind of the Alexa, if you will. You're kind of the know-it-all of your area. So here's a list of local caterers in our area that you can trust for your event. And here's the list of venues that you can, you can rely on for this size group or whatever. Right. So you really are kind of the go-to resource to be able to share, the best of your county or your area. And not only that, it was also here are the things that make us unique as a destination. Here are the things that maybe some even residents don't know, and they've lived here all their lives. And so getting to share kind of the story of the destination you're promoting and what makes it so great to an outsider coming in to just check it out and see and what the people are like and what makes this place unique. And I didn't know that was here or that started here. And there's so many things, especially in Cabarrus, that make it so unique.
Yeah.
And getting to tell that story is really special.
We may have to, and we have some folks with the CVB that we've talked about having them
Definitely
come
should.
because there's just so many stories, right?
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, so moving from there, you then started with Flywheel Coworking.
Yes.
So what was the reset there?
Yes. So 2020 came. For an organization funded by occupancy tax, and there was no travel to hotels to collect the occupancy tax, our team, just like everybody else, was drastically changed. And I was grateful to even still be on the team. And life looked a lot different in that, work environment, all of us remote, trying to try to navigate a pandemic that won't let people travel. Yeah. And so
there goes the tax base.
There goes the tax base.
Right.
And so, again, just grateful to still be on the team and doing what I loved for my county. I was repositioned to our kind of a quasi-marketing. I was working with our marketing team, leading some of those initiatives, and then also working with our sales and services team, supporting some of those incoming social and SMERF groups. And loved it. Loved working with those groups and kind of getting another side of it because I had always worked in partnership.
Right. Now, I'm going to pause you for a second because I've heard the term SMERF, and every time I hear it, I'm like, now what does that mean again?
You're going to test me. Social, military, education, religious, fraternal.
That's it. Yeah. I only said that's it because, that sounded right.
Yep. So a lot of weddings, a lot of family reunions, any sort of those smaller kind of social events.
Yeah.
And then we had a group for like larger meetings and convention associations. They just have different needs, different services attached, different sizes.
Some things need buses.
Some things need buses. Some need giant conference rooms. Some need massive catering. Some need a great venue for their family gathering. Right. So it's just different.
And then in Cabarrus, we have races. So
and
then
we have races.
There's that too.
Absolutely.
So wanting to keep the team together, as most of the businesses did and do, right, during the pandemic, not knowing what was going to happen next. And so you're moved into a new position to help serve that market. And then what?
And then I'm trying to remember how long I did that for. It was probably, you know what? I'm not even going to try to take a guess.
We won't check.
Don't check. Long enough
I can
to
just see
love it and learn.
Right now.
Yeah, somebody's Googling somewhere. Long enough to know that I loved it and got to learn so much. However, I sincerely missed getting back to supporting small businesses, which is a lot of what I did in partnership.
Yeah.
Right? And again, like I said, I got to know them first name basis, knew their businesses, hired them for, our events and things like that so I could share them with other people. And, okay, how do I get back to that?
Yeah.
And then the opportunity with Flywheel came available, made a switch because on a daily basis, I get to work with small businesses and learn what makes them tick, what they need, where they're at, what challenges they're going through. And that is pretty much my day to day.
Yeah. You were lighting up when you were talking about the small business part.
Yeah.
And so again, it's recognizing that, so often we use the word dissatisfied, or you certainly didn't say this, but people are like, I hate my job. And it's like,
oh, yeah.
Well, what parts of it do you, right? Are you ready to shift from or make a change with? And, I have these conversations on a daily basis with people. And for you to be able to so beautifully segment, I guess is the word I'm looking for, what is it that really lights me up? Like, I love this, but I love this better.
Sure.
Or I love doing this, but I miss this. You've said that a few times.
Sure.
I really miss this.
Yeah.
So what is it about the entrepreneur or small business that really attracts you?
On a personal level, I am fired up by making connections for people. And I loved that about partnership. At the CVB, we did that a ton, and getting to do that here. So it's knowing them well enough, but it's knowing, oh, so-and-so does this over there. They need to get together because that would be amazing and they would do great things. Mm-hmm. So let's solve that problem and make that happen and let them, take it from there. And so the connection piece, getting to make those connections is really kind of what keeps me in the zone for that and really, wakes me up every day. Yeah, for sure.
So we also talk about the T, which is take stock. And I'm thinking as I'm listening, for sometimes what happens in take stock is that people get caught in the someone else is my authority. So it becomes the I have to space, right? And I'm not hearing any I have to's from you. I'm hearing a lot of I had an opportunity to choose to do something different.
Sure.
And in that piece of our model, we talk about what really helps to make that work is, one, recognizing I am my own authority and thinking it through to the consequences, the outcomes that I'm going for. And I'm hearing that again in this conversation as well. So if I'm caught in the I have to or the other directed side of the model, then it's someone or something else is making me do this.
Sure.
I'm not hearing any making from you. I'm hearing a lot of I recognized, I had expectations. We haven't talked about sense of self yet, but core values is a big theme running through here in your story. And then you took stock. How did you kind of work through those processes?
I think, if there was and I have to, I feel like, yes, the sense of authority always resided with myself, and there was an opportunity and I was in a great space, but this opportunity just called to me for some reason. It brought me back to that connector piece, that helping people piece. And so, yes, I agree. There was no force. Some people have to make decisions because of an external situation or something that they're facing, and that wasn't the case. But I think it's still having some authority there on my own to recognize what really drove me and my passion for my work, and just seeing a next chapter opening up. It was not necessarily a necessity per se,
right?
Because my team is lovely at the CVB, and so many of them are still there, and I just applaud the work that they do.
Yeah.
And also, here's this new chapter with Flywheel to help launch the Cabarrus Center with all of our economic development partners here that I got to know in my other life in the CVB. And so it was just kind of another piece of the puzzle that I could build on almost. And and taking stock really of what I loved most, and connecting and seeing like how my passion for connection could help my community grow, and how it could drive economic development for my community. And I can keep doing that here, and support entrepreneurs and support the efforts of our partners, and work with even our hybrid members that are, they're working a corporate job and they work remotely, and the impact that they have in our member community here.
Yeah.
That to me was extremely satisfying. It is extremely satisfying.
So I'm sitting here and I'm listening and I'm thinking, oh, I messed up my own model again. And I do it all the time.
Where did we miss a step?
I messed a step because actually Take Stock is about, and this is what reminded me of it, is you were talking about problems versus opportunities.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And then Disarm is where we make our own choices of what can I do here. So what I just heard you say in that piece is you saw an opportunity. I'm going to say this is a soft problem, right?
Sure.
You recognize, like, I think I want something different, or I want something more. And then the opportunity, because a lot of times people in their roles are looking to move within the company. How do I get a promotion? How do I move up? And then there's also a lot of people who, I don't know if they're still doing this, but for quite a while, were like, if I don't move every 3 to 5 years, I'm not making enough money, right?
Sure.
And I'm not hearing any of that. I'm sure part of that falls into your equation. We're not going to talk about that right now. It's none of our business. However, I'm hearing a lot about, this is the work I want to do.
Yes. I think I've always been driven by, here is the work I want to do. For better or for worse. I don't know that my parents were super jazzed about hearing their daughter was getting a recreation and parks degree.
I can hear and what will you do with that?
And what do you, it's a whole industry, Mom. Don't worry about it.
It'll be fine.
Yes, I've always just been, if I'm going to spend the majority of my day, my waking hours at something, it better light me up. It better be worth doing.
Yeah.
And not that your job has to be your fulfillment. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, for me personally, it excites me when I get excited to do what I do.
Yeah.
And it drives me forward.
Yeah.
And if I can impact other people in the process in a positive way, that keeps me going even more, and it makes it worth it. And so it does kind of keep my sights ahead to what the next thing might be.
Yeah. That's it. Looking for the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So looking for the opportunity within the problem. If we stay stuck just in the problem cycle,
yes,
we're not going to get anywhere.
Yes.
So we have to push through and say,
yes. I was just going to say, maybe there's, in that particular case, it was a new job, but maybe it's a new project or a new relationship or a new connection you need to make or a new thing you have to work on and build, and whatever it is you're creating, to see the problem and then go for that new opportunity.
So Flywheel comes along. Hey, Sarah, we're going to build this new building, because it wasn't even built yet, right? You came in and...
I came in and I did miss hard hat phase.
Okay.
There was a gal before me, Danielle, she's lovely, and she helped them through the construction portion. And I was there when I had a bright new shiny building to walk into.
Yeah.
But yes, pretty much from opening day, I was able to be part of the project here. Yeah.
And your role, tell us a little bit more about your role here at Flywheel when you were the community manager.
Yes. Community managers run the co-working space. In our particular scenario, we have lots of different partners providing extra support and services for small businesses beyond just a co-working desk. So I had the opportunity to not just serve our members with a quality co-working space and Wi-Fi and coffee and meeting rooms and connection, but I also got to work closely with our partners when we were launching our venture mentoring services, helping with Retail Lab. I get to kind of have a, double-sided perspective on, the for-profit LLC side, and then the more mission-driven part of what we do here at the Cabrera Center, which supports entrepreneurs with the support of all the partners here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we were talking, what makes it unique here versus some other co-working spaces, all good, all building communities.
Sure. Yes.
Is that Cabarrus County, again, in Concord, has a lot of services right here in the building.
Definitely.
So
entrepreneurs, and this was the idea, was be a one-stop shop for the small business owner or the person with an idea. So they can walk in the front door, and they do. I have a business idea, or I have a small business and I need help. And I'm not quite sure what you guys do here, but can you tell me more? And I'm like, absolutely. So we have everything from business coaching, counseling, classes that they can take, curriculum, like formal programming that they can apply to and participate in, and everything in between. All of our partners have their own lane of, business owner that they support and different services that they offer. So it's just a matter of bringing that person in, doing an intake process, and helping them plug into the right resources here.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty phenomenal. And it's why we're able to be here in the Groove Studio.
Yes.
And I had the blessing and benefit of being part of a mentor team that helped one of our favorite Italian restaurants here in town that saves all my dinner parties because I don't cook. So I just go, time to go to Tootie's and pick up some food. Right? And okay, so now you're doing all this.
Yes.
And you go, hey, maybe we should start a business of our own, you and your husband.
Yes.
So tell us about Rivers and Ridges.
Which is exactly what you should do in your first year of marriage, is also start a business together.
Oh, Sarah, I didn't know that part.
We're hardy and we're here for it. Yes. So my husband and I, even when I was with the CBB, we always, had, I suppose, an entrepreneurial spirit and thought, well, what if we did this one day? Or what if we did that one day? And it was always one day. And coming here and some turning points in his own personal or professional life, he had a choice to make. Would you like to continue with the company that you could potentially buy and continue on with that you're working with now, or do you want to start something new? And that's what I asked him. I was like, this is an opportunity, and we can go either way.
Right.
And thus, we launched our business. We run a fly fishing guide service called Rivers and Ridges. And it started because I said, what do you love to do? And he said, I love to fly fish. And I said, me too. And we were always outdoorsy together, camping, hiking, that sort of thing. So that was kind of just a passion of ours already. Okay, so how do you take your passion and turn it into a business? Should you turn it into a business? Should you just let it be a hobby? And we decided to move forward with utilizing the resources here at the Cabrera Center, kind of sussing out what that looks like to start a business, and really going from there.
So this could become an entirely separate podcast.
Let's do it.
Okay. For now, to tease it up.
Sure.
When we, as you know, when we start a business, there's all the challenges with it, and you've been on we'll call it this side of the table, supporting, helping, encouraging throughout your career. And one part of the model we haven't talked about yet is the S, which is sense of self. So when I wrote the book, I wrote it with these 4 parts of sense of self that kind of loosely modeled the DISC model, right? So the DISC model is all about about our people call it personality types, but they're actually behavioral styles, right? So within the DISC model, there's the dominant style, there's the influencing style, there's the conscientious style, and then there's some call it supportive or steady style. And in Reset, we reworked that a little bit to be about correctness and stability and accomplishment and in being recognized, right? So when you think about some of that, this is a personal question. As you worked on your partnership, do you think you both fall more in a similar area as far as how you work together, or do you balance each other? Because both are great. right?
Sure.
But both can be great and both can also be a challenge.
Sure. I have found in the last few years that we've had this business, it was a learning curve, right? You're now working on something jointly in a way that is, it's not a personal thing. It's business, and it's running a business and all the things that go into it.
Yeah.
And I think it became very clear that we are both strong at different things, even though we love the same thing. He is really good at this bucket, and I'm really good at this bucket, but not so much that. So how do we leverage and kind of complement each other?
Nice.
And lean into what the other one is good at. Not that we can't do it ourselves, but he's so good at this piece, and that's really where he needs to be. And so how can we position him in our business and in what we're working on so that his strength is shining, or me and that my strength is shining, and we're really complementing. And embracing each other's differences. And, he's the visionary and the go-getter, and, we could do this. I would never have those thoughts. Yeah. It wouldn't even occur to me to dream that big. And I'm over here like, okay, well, what do we have to do to make that happen? Yeah. And here's
I was just waiting for that. Yeah.
What do we have to do? And so, let's write out a plan and build an Excel sheet and all that kind of stuff. But I think you need both.
Yeah.
I think you need both. And that is what I think has helped us to grow over the years and learn from each other, is just having that, you are really good at this, I am not. So I'm going to let you take the lead on that, and vice versa.
Yeah. And you've had the business how long now?
We've had it 4 years. 4
years. So you made it past that first three, right? There's the 1 year mark, then there's the 3 year mark, then there's a 5 year mark.
Yes.
And I love that when we talk about things like the correctness button or the accomplishment button, what we realized over the years of working with the model, working with the book is it doesn't matter your behavioral style. It doesn't matter your Enneagram number. It doesn't matter your Myers-Briggs personality type. It does. But those 4 buttons of correctness, accomplishment, stability, and recognition, those live in all of us. So there's a point where we're all kind of like, hey, I'd like to be recognized. Like, hey, I don't think this is going to be correct.
Yeah.
So does that show up for you guys much? Where you notice it, where there's the dreamer and the visionary, right? But then there may also be the, but how do we do this the right way, right? Or what is the right, what makes it right? Yeah. And then how do you support each other? And you may or may not, because again, couples have their own language in their own way.
Sure.
But sometimes it's getting it out of somebody's hands, right? Like I can ruminate something to death.
Oh, yes.
And I swing one way or the other. It's like I'm either ruminating on something like, no, it's not ready yet. No, it's not. I still got to do this. Or I'm like, let's go do this.
Yeah, right.
Jump off the cliff.
Yeah, I think, and I want to make sure I answer your question fully. For us, for me, I found that the more, whether you're married in real life or you're married as business partners, because that feels like a marriage as well, even if you're not actually married, there is a level of communication that you have to have, whether it's, I wish we could do this, or I need help with this, or maybe you could tell me I did a good job on this and get, that sort of stuff. Or this is something I worked really hard and I'm really proud of it. And the more that we did that in our personal life and in our business life, or I'm really struggling with this thing, I don't see this going well. Can you help me address it? And let's work on this so that it does succeed. Just that open line of communication, as cliche as that sounds, that has been really the game changer for us in again, not just our personal lives, but moving the needle forward on our business, which is, what we're talking about here, and keeping us with good momentum so that we have new ideas. And even if you throw something out there, even if it's not the idea, it sparks the next one, and understanding what that person needs for themselves, in their role in the business, whether it is recognition or whatever the case may be, keeping that keeping that open. And so you understand them and how to best work with them and what they need. And then also clarifying what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that, gosh, I'm still stuck on you did this in the first year of your marriage. I'm like, holy man.
We just take what life throws us, or maybe we're gluttons for chaos. I'm not sure.
Well,
but
it might have something to do with being fly fishermen.
Opportunity.
Right?
Opportunity.
Yeah, opportunity. And there's something in that whole being, fly fishing is quite involved.
It's very involved.
And I know nothing.
Yeah.
I fished when I was young for catfish.
Yes.
My uncle took us and my cousins up to Wisconsin, and I remember I won the contest of catching the 3 biggest catfish.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, except the I don't know what the deal was, but you had to watch him clean them. And yeah, and I was like 12. I was like, this is disgusting.
We're out.
Yeah, I have to what?
No. That was the end of your fishing career.
That was the end of my fishing career. And yet I'm fascinated with what you all are doing, because there does seem to be so much. My nephew fishes, and I was talking to him about it, and he's like, yeah, that hook that's flying around?
Yeah.
There's a danger factor in that.
There's a danger factor. Yeah. And it is less about the actual fishing. Yes, we're there to fish. We're there to teach you. You're there to, be in the water and get a fish in the net. It became more for us, the more that we booked trips and heard stories, it became about the people again, which is kind of funny, because that's where I started.
Where you love.
And my husband, Nick, was in hospitality too, in event production. And that's how we kind of met. And so kind of carrying that through line of hospitality and caring for people into an outdoors business just made sense. And suddenly we were getting stories of, this was something that me and my husband did before he passed away, and now I want to share it with our kids.
Oh, wow.
This is his 30th birthday. This is our anniversary.
Yeah.
This is something I've always wanted to do with my son. And it was those kinds of connection stories for people that we'll leave the trip at the, driving home, be like, that was the coolest because of that.
Yeah.
And just have those stories to share with each other and to remember from people. So less about the fish.
Less about the fish and the big hook.
It's still about the fish. And you should be careful with hooks.
So here's what I'm kind of hearing, and I want to kind of walk through this. So shape it if I get it out of whack here. For our listeners at whatever stage you are in your life and career, you tell such a beautiful story, Sara, of how you recognized early on what was and wasn't for you, right? And the opportunity for us to be able to do that, to say, whoa, wait, this is not feeling right, versus that I can grind it through. That's such a big word lately. And every time I hear grind, I'm like, why? And I know it feels that way, but can we get a different word?
Right.
But maybe because it feels that way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you said, no, this is not feeling like a good fit. An opportunity came. So, there was maybe a little thinking of this could be a problem. We just made this investment. I enrolled in school. So where's the opportunity? You shifted. You then had different expectations of how it was going to be, but then now you had new expectations about how it could be.
Sure.
Right? Kind of back to that little bit of that sense of self. Would you say that in that situation, there's clearly an accomplishment button part there. Is there something, I keep getting a little bit of a sense of correctness or stability from you, like that's pretty important to you to make sure that things are done correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so tell me more. Do you mean like in that pivotal moment, what does it feel like to feel comfortable in correctness when you're faced with
the unknown?
Unknown.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you tell me? Because I'm still trying to figure it out. I wish I knew. Being around entrepreneurs, has shown me there's always just a little bit of the unknown. As much as I crave stability and knowing the plan has been the theme.
Right.
In, this season is how do we take on the unknown and still maintain that sense of self.
Yeah.
And strive for, maintaining what's important to me, to us, and move forward in that.
Yeah.
Being a little uncomfortable.
And it not, I don't have the answer yet.
I don't have the answer yet.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I think that's great. That's great advice.
Yeah.
And then the core values, your values just shine through this whole story about community and people and helping and serving and small business and stories and impact and making a difference in people's lives.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do what fires you up. Do what you care about.
Yeah.
And name what matters for you and focusing on that and maintaining those core values. Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm also hearing it doesn't have to look a certain way either.
Sure.
Right? So you started out on this path and it looked like this, and, you were in the CVB and it looked like that. And then, well, now it's like you could not have, I don't think. Maybe you could have. Maybe you did. But I don't think so because it didn't exist yet. Like someday I want to work in a co-op.
Yeah. That was not on my bingo card.
Right.
I'm glad it ended up that way.
Yeah.
It's been such a blessing to be here. All the teams I've been on, such a blessing to learn from them. Again, with the opportunity factor, taking every day to learn in the scenario that you're in and the people that you're talking to. And here at Flywheel, I get to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Talking with our entrepreneurs and our members and learning more and growing into the role that I'm in now in the organization and taking those experiences.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're community manager.
I'm operations manager.
Yeah, you went from community manager to operations manager, which means now you're overseeing 3 Flywheel facilities, one in a different state.
Yes.
Okay.
We have a Winston-Salem, here in Concord, and then Greenville, South Carolina. So it's my job to connect with them, make sure that they have what they need, that they're successful, any issues that they're having, make sure they're performing the way that they need to, and hear feedback from them. What's going on in your space? You are the boots on the ground. And how can we align what you're seeing with what we're trying to achieve and adjust as necessary? And it does feel like you are a business owner. Well, I'm not the business owner, but taking ownership of your space in a way that feels like you have a very personal connection to it and a responsibility for it to perform as a business and that your customers feel welcomed and you have a sense of belonging in your space.
Yeah.
It's quite a personal thing.
Yeah, well, that's back to the not only take stock of where's the opportunity within the problem, right? And that then the disarm, which is what choices do I have to make here? And unfortunately, sometimes, and I've softened this approach a little bit, but before I soften, I'm going to be hardline in it. In that, well, I have to because I don't own it, but this is what the boss wants, or this is what the owner wants, and not being able to take that personal responsibility and I have a choice here, right?
Sure.
And that's where the thinking through the consequences, and then taking an ownership mindset about your life or about your role or about what I'm doing here.
Sure.
And where I've softened it, and we talked about this in the episode with Floyd Isley, is just in this past year, I came to my own aha around sometimes the choice is still going to come from a big have to. As you talked about a few minutes ago, where, sometimes people may not always have the options.
Sure.
And so I may need to keep this job, which can become the have to, but where are my choices within that? Or I'm struggling just to get back into my life today, and my only have to is going to be I have to go get a glass of water.
Sure.
Right? And then I get to go back to bed.
Sure.
So those opportunities, I think, is why why ultimately we created the disarm piece of it, is because at the end of the day, reset isn't a linear model. There's different parts and pieces that happen throughout our life, but at the end of the day, it is about our choices.
Sure.
And you've just done such a beautiful job of sharing your story with all of us about how you were faced with these different points in your life, and you probably without, knowing it, I've applied the model to your life, right? You have gotten yourself through because of seeing opportunities and problems and making choices that were going to serve you with your values.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll credit a lot of that to the people around me, and leaning on them for guidance. And I could not possibly make any of those decisions alone. I didn't know where they were going to lead. I didn't know I'd be where I am today, and I don't know where the decisions I'll make will lead us in the future. And it is that sense of just taking the opportunities as they come. But for me, it's been so important to surround myself with people that I can trust and that can guide me in that process that you're talking about. Yeah. And whether or not they know, the model, but they can kind of help me as a lost soul.
Well, right. And that's, this, as I said, I think in my, when Mark and I had our interview, like there's a million models out there,
sure.
Right? The point that the box I stand on my corner is that I want people to begin to think about in these stories that they're hearing of people's lives, there were points where you made the choices to help you to reset.
Sure.
And if you didn't, there is a way to do it. And it is looking in these areas of recognizing that a button's been pushed and that, what expectations are or aren't being met and going forward. And I think that a big part of that is I wrote it out of my experience, and I'm getting 15, 16 years of data that says we all do this all the time.
We all do this.
We just have to bring it forth and be more conscious and aware about it.
Sure.
So that in that moment when the button is pushed and the amygdala gets activated and all the things happen, it's that pause and breathe moment. Like you did. You paused and you reflected and you said, this isn't quite working. What's next? So to create relationships that work, we want to do it. You mentioned that you're doing it in your marriage, right? And in your business planning, like you pause and breathe. Okay, what's next? Before it's like, what's next?
Right. Boiling point.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Now that you know the model that you've created, how does that, on the same, to the same, note, how does that affect how you are navigating?
Well, no, you
life
can't
is
ask me
too
that
broad.
question.
Business, perhaps?
No. It's funny because when I first wrote the book, I traveled a lot. And so the challenge was, and I would give it to like gate agents and things like that. And it's like, you can't walk around giving people your book with your picture on it and then be the crabby person at the hotel desk or flying. So I had to be much more mindful and also with my clients and in my work. I don't always 100% of the time do it. And there have been seasons in my life since writing this. So it took 7 years to write the book, which is, a little crazy because it's not that thick of a book. But we kept practicing and we kept looking at it and what does that mean? And so then having all these years to work with it and now share stories with people about how they're doing it, even not being aware of it. But here, look what you're doing in your life. These are the places you've reset and moved yourself forward. I guess the short answer to that, Sarah, is some days I do it better than others.
Yeah, sure. That's fair. That's fair, but it helps you to have a framework to go off of and really evaluate what could be not unsettling, a situation that throws you off.
It could be an unsettling situation.
Perhaps it's unsettling.
And sometimes it's a life. It's a life. I know this is another term right now, like life hack, but it's
Sure.
it's more of a life event, and how do we navigate the life events?
I love that.
Yeah. So, Sarah, we're at the end, and I just want to thank you for all that you've done, all that you continue to do for the people around you through Rivers and Ridges and with Flywheel Coworking and your new operations manager role. And I'm just looking forward to what you're going to create going forward.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And that's it for Reset Your Buttons. So we're going to sign off, and bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Reset Your Buttons podcast with Mary Elizabeth Murphy. If you want to learn more about Star Resources, Reset Your Buttons, or have Mary Elizabeth speak at your next event, please submit a contact form at starresources.net/contact.